Hello, everyone. My name is Santiago Roman. I'm a second year at Oberlin College.
Hello, I'm Damilare Ogunjimi. I'm a third year at Oberlin College.
And my name's Karenza Lodhol, and I'm also a third year at Oberlin.
Today, we've prepared a PowerPoint for you on the Alabama red-bellied cooter, which is an endangered species in the Mobile-Tensaw Delta in the southern Alabama region.
So the red-bellied turtle is found only in the Mobile and Baldwin counties of Alabama and the lower Pascagoula River in Mississippi. It is a native of the Mobile-Tensaw Delta, which we'll talk more about later, and likes living in still fresh water and shallow bays with plentiful underwater vegetation.
The red-bellied turtle was designated as an endangered species in 1987 by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. The Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources designated as a protected non-game species, meaning that it was illegal to hunt or eat. A study revealed that between 1971 and 1983, there was a large decline in juvenile turtle survival. This, as well as tropical storm disturbance, increased freshwater habitat pollution, and increased egg predation from other threatened species, have been contributing to the turtle's dwindling population.
Depicted in the background is a swampy area of the Mobile-Tensaw Delta, and the map that you now see highlights the entirety of the Alabama watershed, of which the delta is a small portion of. The Mobile-Tensaw Delta is a part of the Mobile-Tensaw watershed, which is the largest watershed in the United States. The watershed spreads over 250,000 acres and filters an estimated 14% of America's freshwater. The delta is composed of 20,000 acres of water, 10,000 acres of marsh, 70,000 acres of swamp, and 85,000 acres of forest. There are more than 400 species of animals and 500 species of plants. Half of all the fish in Alabama reside in the delta at some point in their life. It is also home to an estimated 67 rare, imperiled, or endangered species. On the map to the right, I would like to draw your attention to two of its features, the first of which are national pollution discharge elimination systems, which are mandated by the government to be put in place in order to regulate the release of pollution through point sources. Additionally depicted on the map are 303D list sections of water. States are required to test impaired waters for their quality and release that information to the public. However, it is in dire need of an update in the Delta because certain areas, such as Hog Bayou, which are polluted enough to be included in the 303D list, are not actually included. America's Amazon is a documentary on the Mobile-Tensaw Delta. It is an hour long and discusses the diversity of the species in the Delta as well as the further research necessary to further understand all the different types of animals and species located within it. The Mobile-Tensaw Delta is also home to another endangered species, the American osprey. Depicted in this video is proof of the presence of ospreys on the Delta. Similarly to the cooter, sightings and locations of the osprey must be recorded and reported to the government in order to get protections for the habitat and for Africatown.
Mobile-Tensaw Delta has been protected through several designations. The Delta was declared a National Natural Landmark in 1974, and it is recognized as a protected area by Alabama's Forever Wild program, the National Wildlife Association, and the Alabama Wildlife Association. While Hog Bayou is part of the Delta, it is not protected under any of these designations. This has allowed industrial development in that area. In order to pursue protective designations for areas like Hog Bayou, federal and state governmental organizations like the National Parks Service, local legislatures, and the Alabama Wildlife Federation need to be contacted. Limited distribution, encroaching development, and habitat destruction were a few of the reasons the red-bellied turtle were declared endangered. Several highways built along the Mobile-Tensaw Delta have caused the death of 444 turtles in the past 6 years. And because the turtle is confined to habitat local to the Mobile-Tensaw area, local and state officials would be responsible for passing and implementing protective laws. Attention to pollution regulation and waste management in the Mobile-Tensaw Delta has increased because it is home to several sensitive habitats. Since the Endangered Species Act passed, views on its usefulness have changed. The way the government classifies an issue limits what laws can be imposed for species protection. Long-term protections have not been enacted for any of the turtles' nesting, basking, feeding, or overwintering, where they spend the winter, habitats. Data on red-bellied turtle population are limited. However, trapping data indicate that populations are likely stable, but not increasing, so they remain endangered.
Many developments that contribute to the severe endangerment of red-bellied turtles also contribute to human health issues. Major highway construction has contributed large amounts of air pollution to the environment. Chemical leaks from chemical companies being built along protected waterways have contaminated bodies of water that were previously freshwater, and local government has also been lifting protections on some waterways so they can be used commercially. Using previous cases, the turtle situation can help pass laws to protect people and animals as well as prevent pollution. Here we have some other cases where civilians played a role in protecting endangered species. One of the first cases is the 1978 Supreme Court case known as TVA v. Hill. In this case, the Tennessee Valley Authority, or TVA, sought to build a Tilico Dam on the Little Tennessee River. This project was approved and started in 1967, while the ESA was passed in 1973. Completion of these plans faced backlash from locals who knew that this river was the only known habitat for the endangered fish known as the snail darter. To combat these plans, locals petitioned the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to add the snail darter to the endangered species list. This addition was approved for miles 0.5 and 17 of the Little Tennessee River, which was classified as the darter's critical habitat. However, the TVA continued this project anyway, due to continued funding. In response, local Hiram Hill, alongside local attorney Joseph Congleton, filed a citizen suit against the TVA, saying that they were violating the Endangered Species Act. This case made it to the Supreme Court in 1978, where the majority of the justices agreed that the completion of the dam would result in the extinction of the snail darter, and completion of the dam was halted, while a committee was then formed to further look into the case and deliver a final decision. This committee decided to relocate the snail darters and complete the dam. Another similar case is the Quartz timber cell in Oregon's Umpqua National Forest. This forest is home to the red-tree voles and northern spotted owls, two endangered bird species. The Quartz timber cell was a project that planned on commercially logging and burning 847 acres of old forest where red-tree voles and northern spotted owls like to set up their habitats. In response, locals began to survey the project area for vole and spotted owl nests. Upon finding these habitats in the project area, the locals created numerous blogs chronicling their journey and gaining support, and teamed up with the Western Environmental Law Center to challenge the timber sale legally. This case ended with the logging project being halted until it appropriately complies with the National Environmental Policy Act. Yet another similar case is Thomas v. Peterson, where the fate of the Rocky Mountain gray wolf was debated. In this case, the U.S. Forest Service approved the construction of gravel roads for timber cells in Nez Perce National Forest in Idaho. Harold Thomas and other local citizens filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Forest Service because they felt that the USFS didn't adequately consider the effect of the road on the endangered wolf population. The case ended with the citizens winning when the appellate court decided that when an agency is aware of the presence of an endangered species, the ESA requires that the agency completes a biological assessment to determine whether or not their project will affect endangered species in the area. Finally, local citizens around Ocean Shore, Washington, partnered with the local university, the University of Washington, to create COAST, the Coastal Observation and Seabird Survey Team. This group, a collaboration between citizens and the local university, observed seabirds in Ocean Shore, Washington, using the percentage and analysis of dead seabirds found to inform citizens of their beach's health. Currently, we are unsure about whether or not this group has taken any of their findings to court, but this group shows the type of cooperation that can happen between local citizens and local institutions of higher learning.